My name is Merrick Hoban, and I am a facilitator, a neutral facilitator with a group called the Consensus Building Institute, based out of Washington, D.C. and Boston, that works globally to help multiple parties with diverse viewpoints have more effective conversations. That is our job over these next 3 days, is to help you to have conversations about the things that matter to you most, to explore the opportunities for moving in directions that are constructive to you mutually, and to help clarify what are the takeaways, the lessons and insights that you're gathering individually and collectively from this historic event. I'm going to lay out the quick roadmap to the 3 days so that we're all on the same page, and then we're going to move briskly into our opening keynote. Why are we here? We've heard a little bit about that already from our opening, but there are essentially 4 goals. One is about building relationships, connecting people across sectors, across the entire global industry, from NGOs to academics to scientists, in one place to make new connections around the state of the beef industry as a whole and thinking about its opportunities for improvement in sustainability moving forward. 2, we want to share with each other best science, best practice, and innovative approaches to improving the industry in key areas of opportunity. We all come with that experience from all parts of the globe. We've designed this event to allow you to have that kind of exchange in a unique and unparalleled opportunity. 3 is to increase understanding of the key issues. By issue, we mean a positive or negative aspect of the industry that we believe collectively or individually needs further attention as a matter of helping the industry forward to enhance its sustainability and to thrive. And lastly, to explore some of the possible and potential multi-stakeholder solutions. Who has done this work that's come before us, or that's in the room now? And how can we build on that excellent work, learn from that, and drive forward with effective engagement in ways that have not been tried before, or build upon the tried and true experiences of many of you in the room, wherever you come from? There are several outputs. What do you get out of this engagement, you might wonder? There are 3 pieces we'd like to suggest. 1 is greater clarity on the value proposition for advancing industry sustainability. Why do this? Why have this conversation? What take back to your communities, to your organizations, to your businesses in terms of thinking about how you would engage in this effort and whether or not that makes sense for you? Secondly, this refined understanding of the key issues, the pros and the cons of critical opportunities globally. What do we think of those? How do we understand those? To provide that information, not simply from a set of experts, but rather from yourselves, who are many of you, if not all of you, are experts in some aspect of this industry and the questions that we are engaging on. We'll create a space for that engagement to happen effectively and substantively. And lastly, to share insights regarding how, in fact, these multi-stakeholder engagements have been achieved in sustainability and could work going forward. We want to give you those tools, those insights, those experiences that you can take back as your own narrative to share with others. There are several principles that matter a great deal in this that Bob and Brian and others have already made mention of. And these, in fact, were part of your materials as you registered for this event and as you signed up out front as you entered into the meeting itself. And these are unique. This is what the steering committee as a whole, as they develop these ideas, believes are the foundation of this distinct and unique initiative. 1 is a belief that engagement promotes understanding of sharing of best practices and maintaining civil discourse. We must engage. We cannot remain in our own corner of this debate. If we do not engage, we may miss opportunities to capitalize on new understandings and new ideas and drive forward the industry in a way that benefits all of us. Secondly, respect. A respect for diverse points of view, even when strong disagreement exists. And disagreement exists in this room on many things. But the question is, do we understand that disagreement? Do we understand the range of viewpoints clearly? And do we see the overlaps in ideas and possibilities clearly enough to capture the opportunities ahead of us? And lastly, acknowledgement. acknowledgement that all beef production systems can make contributions towards improved sustainability. Let me clarify. It is not that the industry is somehow not making tremendous strides. It is making amazing strides. The question is, what more could be done that would strengthen this industry, that would allow it to be more effective, proactive, and responsive to the issues at hand and to the trends that you face as this industry evolves. There's some meeting protocol that I'd like to cover to help us have this conversation. Some important things for you to be aware of, and some guidance that is in place to help us achieve the maximum benefits of our engagement. First and foremost, we have media in the room with us. And I hope all of you were aware of that coming, and I want to remind you that they are here, but they are here for a specific reason, whether it be New York Times or the Associated Press or the Chicago Tribune or some associated trade journals that are here with us and have invested their time with us. Why? Because we would like to maximize transparency of this event. 300 people is not necessarily representative of the full range of viewpoints, issues, and concerns and perspectives that exist on this topic. Therefore, we want to be able to communicate out to the rest of the world what has happened in this conference. That media will be only in plenary sessions, not in breakout discussion. Why? Because we want to ensure that we have the opportunity to capture the core conversations here in plenary, but also respect the need for frank and candid discussion in smaller groups, where we can speak to our core interests and concerns in a very frank way. So, the media is here, and when they may approach you for interviews and the like, perhaps in the hallway, they'll identify themselves, and you can either engage in those conversations or not. That is your choice. Videotaping. We have Garth here in the corner videotaping the event. He is doing that precisely, and only the plenary sessions, the presentations and discussion that may follow, precisely so that we have a record of this conversation, and we can put that on the web and share this globally. There is no reason to limit our conversation simply to those that are in the room here today. So Garth will be here. If you wish not to be videotaped at any time, you can make that request, but he will be here capturing the core presentations. I should mention also to clarify that the media that is here will not be videotaping or audio taping, whether that be the newspapers or the trade journals and the like. They are here with notepads, taking notes on our conversations. They may engage you. They may even ask questions of the panel at some point. But they will identify themselves, and they're here to help us capture the key ideas and insights of this event. Antitrust. In your folders, there is a one sheet that suggests some antitrust guidelines. In other words, we're suggesting that, as is a common protocol, to not discuss pricing and trading and the like in the context of this meeting, for all the obvious reasons. And lastly, we've asked you to wear your name badges throughout this conference. And this will be a way of ensuring that you're in the right place at the right time. And also, if you're not meant to be in a certain place at the right time, then you have this badge to help clarify. So please have this. If you do not have your badge, please go to the registration desk and get that before you enter into conversations here in plenary or in the breakout discussions. Let me very briskly talk about what the 3 days look like. A way of telling this narrative is through 3 core concepts. Day 1 is about getting ready for discussion, clarifying the rationale and the reasoning behind why we should come to the table for this kind of engagement, and also to raise the level of information about what is happening globally with the global beef production system. We have a better sense of perspective, whether it be from South America or Africa or Europe or China or the like. We want to raise that level of familiarity so that we can engage in the conversations more effectively. Part of that will also include a regional variations panel in which we are having core groups and individuals talk about their experience from where they come from. What's the state of play in these key regions? What are the core opportunities they see in the beef industry to drive towards sustainability, and the challenges they also see moving forward? And there will also be a dinner and a keynote that we will have at 6:15. Day 2 is about deliberation. If day 1 was about establishing a baseline of understanding, day 2 is about engaging in the substantive conversation, beginning with a clarification of the lens of which we are applying ourselves to this engagement, which we call the triple bottom line: social, economic, and environmental lens to gauge whether and how key aspects of the industry and core issues are sustainable or not, and the key impacts, positive and negative, that we want to understand better. Once we've established that baseline, we're going to move into small group discussions. We'll move out of this room. You'll be in conference rooms throughout the event facility, and we will have core discussions on a number of key issues that were presented to you in your registration materials, in your pamphlets, and also online and by email. So whether that be greenhouse gas emissions, or the way energy is being addressed, or water management, you will be choosing those conversations and moving into breakout discussion, and actually 2 separate sessions, one in the morning on a topic of your choosing, and then lunch, and then a separate conversation on a different topic towards the afternoon. In total, 4 hours of facilitated discussion with a professional team that's going to help you move through those conversations. And on the back end of day 2 is storytelling, multi-stakeholder initiatives, a core panel giving its experiences about lessons and insights on how it's engaged in multi-stakeholder efforts and what it has learned about that, so that you might judge for yourself whether and how that kind of approach is of interest and of benefit to you. That night we'll have dinner and an open networking session in which the steering committees, but also other core organizations, NGOs, and other groups will have tables for you to engage informally and learn more about their efforts to address sustainability in the industry. And lastly is about exploring the way forward. If we've raised our level of awareness of the issues, if we've discussed those in depth and tried to parse out how we see those issues, where we see overlap in distinct opportunities and challenges ahead, then we want to look ahead and ask ourselves, what next? We'll begin that by providing some overarching feedback on what's come from your smaller group conversations on day 2, key themes, ideas, and insights, and then quickly move into a further set of examples of regional and global multi-stakeholder approaches. Whether that be what's happening in Australia, or what's happening in Brazil, or other parts of the world, we'll bring those stories to you. The leaders of those efforts will explain their experience, what has worked, the challenges they face, the lessons, the insights, and the guidance they have to provide. We'll take your questions and your comments and try and clarify your thought process about that. And in closing, we'll ask you for your advice about how this kind of group and others that are interested in multi-stakeholder engagement could move forward if they chose. And finally, we'll ask the steering committee to try and summarize and synthesize its core insights and takeaways from the conversation over these 3 days. That is our game plan. That is our roadmap. We hope that responds to many of your interests and concerns and the reasons that you are here with us in Denver.